What's up, guys? It's your boy, Radical. Now, my workout plans have been a success. More than 300 plus purchases and many more returning customers. You cannot ask for anything else, and people are loving it. The same life-changing and affordable prices still remain. So go to radicallatino.com and change your life today. Hey guys, do you have a product you want more eyes on? Advertise with the Radical Latino Show, where over 10K podcast downloads and the number 25 spot on the 55 All Latin podcast list. You'll want your product heard on everyone's phones and cars. Go to radicallatino.com/contacts and start advertising today.
Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air. The New York's very own
Radical
Latino is taking you to another level.
I think there's more radicals than Stevo. Radical Latino, you're buffing it. The radical point of views, I think his views are actually more dangerous.
You hear that? It's like the pulse in the street. A hole in the chest.
Yo! What up, my people? What's going on? You gotta give, guys, I'm so sorry. You gotta give me a minute because I gotta change my settings. Give me 1 minute, guys. Yo. Can y'all hear me? I think y'all can hear me. Okay. We're going to try that one more time. My bad. My bad. Hold up.
You hear that? It's like the pulse in the street. A hole in the chest.
Yo! What up? What's going on, my people? Is your boy Radical. You already know, aka number 17 on All Latin Podcasts, aka number 24 on All Browns Podcast Influencer List, and Mr. Unsuable for 73 weeks running. What is going on? I hope everybody is doing great. I hope everybody is doing good. I hope everybody is living good. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody right now up in the chat. I want to give a huge shout out to Just Being Jazzy, Real, Uncommon Sense with Jose, Danielle, and Inquisidor. Okay, cool. Shout out to you. Only JS. I want to give a shout out to Brotep. Also, I got a lot of people in the back, so just give me a minute, guys. I'm definitely gonna have you come in. But this is gonna be. Let me just give you some of the updates. First of all, as you guys always know, right? This episode is sponsored by radfitpro.com. They have two products right now, Cleopatra and Ogun. So go to radfitpro.com and use promo code RADICAL for 10% off their startup CBD company. And their best product right now is Cleopatra. So definitely go check them out and get 10% off for your CBD purchase. Now, another update for you guys on Open Wounds. The documentary, it's 100% complete. 100% complete. Now, let me let you guys know. The Open Wounds is 4 parts. This documentary is 4 parts. It's completely done. It's the first part is going to talk about the Tainos, the indigenous people that were in the island of Española, and the things that happened when Christopher Columbus came into the island, right? So these are 4 parts. Each part is going to be anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes, maybe an hour, right? Because there's a lot of information that I'm packing in each part, you know what I mean? And the first part is going to come out in February 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely check your calendars, set your reminders, and all that other stuff. I'm telling you, I am pulling out no stops on this. This is going to be a professional documentary, and I went all out. The reason why it was taking so long is because I was waiting for permission from these other places that got these interviews so I could use them on my film. I basically got permission from them and they gave me the green light and I went for it. So definitely go check that documentary out when it comes out. Right now I'm working on the website so you guys could understand a little bit more on what the documentary is going to entail and have on and all that other stuff. So definitely look out for that. So another update, there's a lot of interviews on the way, so definitely just be patient. I got some interviews, you know what I'm saying? I got other things going on behind the scenes, and also let's just move on to reading some of reading some of the comments from last week's episode. So last week's episode was episode 170th. And this is episode 171. Remember, if you guys want your comments read for next week's episode, go on the comment section of this episode on YouTube, write your comments, and I'll definitely read them for next week. So we got the first one is Pamela, right? Let me get it up on my computer right here so you guys already seeing it. Pamela says, I think we need to have a part 2 so you guys could go in depth because I would like to hear from the Latinos on the other side of the US. Also, we're fragmented because we don't want to talk about any issues of our communities, and within our communities, we're very different nationalities with different issues. 100% true. And this is the reason why I made the episode the way I made it. Like the Latino community is fragmented, and I believe for it to be so. And I think that this comment pretty much agrees with me. The next comment I'm going to read is from Mark. He said, truth and facts 100. Shout out to Mark, shout out to that homie, you know what I'm saying? The next one is from Juan Rambo, you know what I'm saying? Juan says, I don't know if Juan Rambo, I don't know if he's Latino or not. I think he is, but I don't know. He goes, Latino Hispanic communities is fragmented by geographics. The West in Mexican American territory. Florida is Cuban American. East Coast is Puerto Rican. But the future, more Hispanics and Latinos will start mixing more and start identifying more as American, in my opinion. True. I see that happening to the second to third and fourth generation Latinos here in America. I don't see that happening to the first generation Latinos here in America, because the first generation here in America, they want to keep that connection with our parents' home country. And for the most part, our parents, I'm not going to allow you from severing that tie. But I do see what Wang is talking about, and I agree. But I think it's going to happen, second, third, fourth generation. You know what I'm saying? And the last one is from Decolonize Alexis. And he says, the thing that I dislike are terms such as Latinx, Hispanic, and Latino, which I agree. Doesn't matter if I like or dislike it, I'm still going to be called that. I identify as indigenous natives and as a placeholder. My ethnicity is Mexican. My race is native. 100% agree on that. And the thing is, a lot of Latinos unfortunately don't think like that. Shout out to Decolonize Alexis. A lot of Latinos don't think like that. A lot of Latinos want to just go with the flow. They want to, I gotta be honest, they want to chuck and jive and think everything is all good and all that other stuff. So, which is not the case. So I definitely agree with Decolonize Alexis. Now, again, this is not going to be a visual podcast. This is not pre-recorded. It's live, Inquisidor. This is not going to be a visual podcast for this week. Next week it is. It's going to be pre-recording, all that other stuff. The reason why is because I was editing the documentary. It took a lot out of me, so I couldn't do a lot at once. But we're back at it, so I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. You know, I'm back at it. So I'm going to. This is the first time that we're gonna go straight to the topic about how Latinos are being forced to be classified as white. And this is something that I've been saying for the longest since I started my podcast. And this is something that I've always been challenged by other people saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. You gotta prove it to me and all that other stuff, which is 100% ridiculous, because if you haven't seen some of the dynamics here in America, there's nothing for me to prove. You should see it. But I always like to keep my stuff in the chamber for a good minute and then release it. You know what I'm saying? So this past actually these couple of days, I put out a video of a news article, well, a news story where Texas troopers in Texas go around classifying Latinos, and the majority of them are Latinos, as white. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys that clip right now, and I'm going to, I'm not going to break it down, but I'm going to just show it to you guys. And so you guys could see what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? And you guys could get some greater context, right? So hold on, okay, so this is from my channel right quick. Come on. There it goes. All right, so this is from my channel right quick, right here. So let's go.
You're pulled over on Texas highways. Troopers record your race on your ticket. It's required by law to show whether the Department of Public Safety is racially profiling.
But tonight, KXAN investigator Brian Collister uncovers troopers are not always following that law during traffic stops.
Robert and Shannon, DPS calls itself an elite and highly trained force. So how can troopers get something so obvious so wrong? A DPS trooper, siren blaring, coming up fast. He pulls over this driver for speeding last May. Pastor Gonzalez Sosa only speaks Spanish, tells the trooper he's from Mexico. But guess what race the trooper, who's Hispanic and also speaking Spanish, marks down on Sosa's ticket? White. The same thing happened to Sergio Raul Mejia when he got a ticket this May in Georgetown. The trooper reported Mejia as white.
That's bad. I'm Hispanic. He was not supposed to fool white people.
You don't think he looked white?
No.
Both of you drinking?
In every traffic stop, state law requires peace officers determine the driver's race to the best of their ability and document it. The law is very clear. Race and ethnicity are treated the same. Troopers must pick from these categories, which include both white and Hispanic.
For the audio listeners that are going to be listening to this audioly, the ethnicity and race are pretty much the same thing. They're separated, so they have an H for Hispanic and a W for white. Just to let you guys know.
But we've discovered examples of race recorded incorrectly after we poured through millions of DPS traffic citation records. Like these drivers seen on dashcam video, all Hispanic, including David Ramirez Bautista, speaking to a trooper who apparently doesn't understand Spanish. There's Antonio Tovar Mendez, Jose Luis Ramirez, and Jose Palacios Jr., all of them reported by DPS to the state as white.
There's something else going on here.
We showed the data to Professor Ranjana Natarajan, who directs the Civil Rights Clinic at the University of Texas.
I'm going to pause it right here and just fast forward it towards the end just a little bit, so you guys could just understand just a little bit. Let's go.
Our trooper,
Guest tells us it will enhance the precision of this important reporting requirement. They're also exploring possible fixes to their computer system. Now, we put DPS's full statement and the entire interview with the director on our website for everyone to look at.
Brian, you mentioned that computer flaw. Did you ever see any white people marked down incorrectly?
We did look for that. Didn't find a single example.
So they haven't found a single example for marking down white folks incorrectly, but they found multiple examples of Latinos being marked down incorrectly. You know what I'm saying? So that should tell you right there that there's definitely an agenda going on. And also before I bring in my guest in the back, I want to just harp on something real quick. There's a reason why I've always, fought against this, because we need, as Latinos, we need a race classification. We definitely need that, regardless however you want to identify yourself, talking about you're an alien. Latinos need a racial classification. If you don't want to classify yourself as native, okay. You don't want to classify yourself as black, okay. We need a racial classification so all of this buffoonery could go away and we could actually start getting on code. So I also the same day that I put the video out, I got a homie from UCIS, right? Give me 1 minute. Hold on, guys. Anyway, so I got a homie that works for the border peoples, you know what I'm saying? And he sent me something because he saw my video. He sent me something which was very interesting, which speaks to what I was talking about, right? So this right here is an application, and this right here tells you have to choose one race category. This is an application to become a citizen here, right? It tells you to pick one race category. And for the people who might not see it, for the audio listeners, it has Caucasian and Latino in the same category, in the same box. Every other box is separated. They have Black, Asian, Unknown, and Native American, all separated with the same box, but they have Caucasian as Latino together. If that doesn't prove that there's an agenda going on, I have no idea what will. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to bring in one of my guests. I have Indigenous Podcast here. Yo, Indigenous, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, Rad? Just me, Marcus.
Oh, what's up, Marcus? What's going on, bro?
Oh, not much, man. Thank you for inviting me and letting me come on.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Thank you for coming in. What is your thoughts and point of view on this whole topic and the things that are presented?
Sure. Yeah, you bring up a really interesting point, and I was the one that left a comment saying, thank you for posting this. My thoughts are that, like, throughout, and it's very obvious, like, if you look in the history and throughout time, Native Americans were sterilized to reduce their population. Asians, the Chinese, there was a Chinese ban. It wasn't until, I believe, 1967 or something of that time frame, where a lot of people that weren't white were not allowed in the U.S. They had the immigration laws of 1967 or 1962? I'm trying to remember the exact year. But yeah, for the longest time, like there was, they put a lot of, how would I say, just bans, restrictions on people from Asia, from Africa. They put quotas on to keep the U.S. population from becoming, less white. So now we see this today. I think it's very obvious, and I agree with you that there is an agenda with, the U.S. government or certain people in the U.S. government. But in my opinion, radical. I don't think it matters. I think it matters, but like them trying to do this, the U.S. population is changing every year. It's becoming more, less white. Like if you look at the states of California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, they're like majority non-white American. And it's just going to continue. So no matter what they do, the U.S. government, and they play these little games, sure, like it will say it on paper, like, yeah, the U.S. is this percent white or whatever. But even like the term white itself is quite silly to me. And I say that because, people from Greece and people from Iceland, Norway, Sweden really don't look like each other at all. Same. To put them in the same as white is silly. I have people that I know don't even look at Greeks as white Americans. And to some extent, I kind of agree to that too. If you look back at their history regarding like their connection to the Middle East. But yeah, it's obvious that, there are certain people in the U.S. government that probably still have this thinking like, oh, we should come up with these like crazy ideas to make it sound like we don't have that many people, but they would probably say like colored people or whatever. And it's unfortunate because, times change. But I do believe that the younger generations of all races of people are becoming more accepting and understanding. So I have hope for the future. I'm optimistic. I like to be an optimistic person.
Gotcha. Do you let me ask you one question before I go over to Brotep. Do you think that as a Latino that's trying to, let's say a Latino that's trying to figure out his roots and be part, of a native population, do you think it's a little confusing if on paper he's going to be forced to classify as white?
Sure, it's confusing. I don't think it helps either. I mean, this too. Like, I think that like a lot of parents, maybe of like, as you would say, Latino immigrants, like really want to cling on to like whiteness to some extent, like because they believe like in terms of like being white, it helps them get like a higher step in American society.
Gotcha.
Right. So when you have like family members that might think this way, I think it causes a lot more confusion. But yeah, I do agree with you that it does cause problems. But thankfully, we have good channels like yours and others that that are against this. That I think really
that are fighting against us. Yeah. Most definitely. I want to pass it on to Brotep now. Brotep, I don't know if you saw the clip and the clips that I showed, and also the paperwork that I showed. But what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, I got to say that not all white people is bad.
Oh my God!
There's our own worst enemy.
Okay.
I think definitely you guys need your own identity. Like whatever it is, just agree on it and then get on board. You know what I mean? Yeah. Being absorbed. See, absorption is one of the main things that I think you guys have to worry about, right?
Okay.
Many people are concerned that Black culture is trying to absorb indigenous culture, trying to absorb Latino culture.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side of that, many people are saying that dominant society is trying to absorb, Latino culture and make it theirs, so that they have a we're white. Your sector belongs to us. It's just exotic, but you're white. You're just like us.
Yeah.
No, you guys need your own thing. You know what I mean? And the worst part about that is every time you guys identify as another group, the other group benefits. You don't get any attached advantages by being absorbed into the other group.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much my take on it.
Do you think that being forced to label yourself as white is a little disingenuous on someone's someone's seeing themselves or empowering themselves? Do you think that's a little disingenuous?
Well, yeah, on many levels, right? So it's disingenuous on the part of the person doing it, right? That's one thing. What's the agenda behind it? Because this was new to me. I always, when I've seen this happen, it's usually like in the census or when they're doing things with schools, right?
Yeah.
They're being counted as white will beef up white numbers. But I'm seeing this here with crime. That's just weird. So we have to see what the agenda is behind making it, crime related, and then these people being counted as white, right?
Yeah.
But then it's disingenuous on the part of the person who accepts that stuff. Imagine you just accept that, and then just because you think you're gonna benefit from a collective movement of whiteness by checking white on that little box. Nah, that's not how that go, player. You're gonna have the machinery of whiteness, and whatever you guys call it. That machinery will get stronger. You, as your group, will get weaker. I'm a big proponent of groups staying themselves. You know what I mean? Keeping their integrity. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you
that includes white people?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I got a question for both of you guys. Do you what do you think is the agenda behind the reason why they want to force this white label on Latinos? Because if we're going to go through his history, we've seen it with the census. As Brotep said it, we also seen it with school classifications. Now you see it with voting rights. Now you see it with police stops. You see it within hospitals, job applications. Now immigration applications, and now you're seeing it more and more and more and more of this forceful adoption to be white. Now, I'm asking whoever wants to go first. What is the reason, in you guys' opinion, why United States wants to beef up the white numbers and to have other people who are not white artificially white?
Well, in an effort to keep myself off of some sort of watch list, I would say that the numbers have been proven that the people who constitute whiteness, their numbers are dropping. They said that by 2030, 2045 or something like that,
the
U.S. will become a majority brown population or whatever.
Yeah.
This could be an effort in order to, whether it's sociologically, politically, or whatever, to keep basically keep control of what they have. So if they consider power in terms of numerical population, then they're losing. The indigenous and Native American, Hispanic, Latino, that population, whether you guys are united or not, they consider you guys one big whole group. And notice all in media, they're actually catering to you guys now. Have you noticed the new Bad Girl's white? Not white, Latina. Snow White's gonna be Latina. I'm doing a video on that. Okay. But they're catering to you in music, entertainment. And they're seeing that, okay, if this is the new group that's swelling up, it's probably best to induct them and then have that swell up be on the part of whiteness. You know what I mean? But okay. I think that's the main agenda of it.
Gotcha. Marcus, you want to go?
In response to his catering, I mean, in reality, though, in the American eyes, anyone can be a Latina. Like, who was that blonde-haired, very white-skinned woman from Argentina? Forgot her name.
Shakira?
Sorry?
Is it Shakira?
I don't remember. I'll try and look it up when I have time.
Okay.
She's considered Latina. I think
Cameron Diaz, right?
Yeah, or just other women out there. Like, there's no specific race. I know Radical, you have a different perspective on this.
Yeah.
But in my perspective, anyone can be Latina if you're born from, if you're born in Asia, China, and you grew up all your life in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or if you're Chinese and born in Mexico, anywhere throughout Central South America, move to the U.S., they could be considered Latino too, or Latina. So in essence, they could be catering to anyone. In my opinion, you could be as white as you are, or any other race of person. So I would I wouldn't really like agree as far as like the catering.
But I
You
meant
have to be more
Latino
specific, though.
identified. I mean Latino identified, not white passing. Like they're replacing these usually white characters with like distinctly Latino faces. So the new Moon Knight guy, everyone knows that Oscar Isaac is Latino. Like he can't pass for white. He tried in the new Star Wars movies, but
Yeah.
no, you can pick him out. You know,
Right.
the dude, the Mandalorian. You know, he can't pass for white. Even when he was in Wonder Woman, they had to give him like a Latino background.
Do you think Ariana Grande is Latino?
The Lord, what's his name? Something Lord, Sebastian Lord, or something like that, right? The villain in there in Wonder Woman 1984, that was a Latino guy, but he couldn't. Even though, by your perspective, he should be able to pass for white. You know, just give him an Anglican name, right? But they gave him an Anglican name or an Anglo name, and he still couldn't pass for white. They have to give him a Latino background. With his son showing up there,
I wanna highlight something. I think Inquisitor just said about Marcus. He said that Marcus is white as fuck.
I know who Inquisitor is. I know he's not a fan of me, so it's cool.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh, you know him? Yeah.
I'm aware of him.
I don't think Marcus is white, bro. If Marcus is white, then goddamn, you know.
Isn't Inquisitor a Hispanista?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, Inquisitor. Aren't you a Puerto Rican like who got Spain flags all over your house and not a Puerto Rican one? You're the only Puerto Rican I know in New York City without a Puerto Rican flag around, bro.
Yeah, that's strange.
Him and his buddies like to call me like white or like ethnically
funny.
Anglo or something. It's funny. I just laugh.
That's funny. If Marquise is if Marquise is white, then Brotep is Anglo as shit.
Yeah, right. No, I'm Chinese. Like,
yeah, exactly. Goddamn. No, so I think you guys stumbled into a very interesting I'll say paradigm shift, because when it comes to whiteness, and it comes to seeing someone as white or whatever the case is, it's pretty much up to the individual that is interacting with someone else, correct? Not something that you're pretty much believing. Like, you could walk around believing that you're a frog. That doesn't mean people are going to treat you as a frog, right? Yeah. So it's pretty much how society interacts with you. So some would say that if, let's say, you're getting some white privilege or whatever the case is, and you're Latino, Latina, but you're anglicized and like featurely there's nothing phenotypical about you, don't you think that person is just white and not even nothing else of ethnic, like outside of the whole Latin thing? Don't you think that would be the case, or no?
I'll need some clarification.
Please.
For example, if let's say okay, this dude right here, right? Phenotypically, he doesn't look Hispanic whatsoever. He doesn't look Latino or whatever the case is, right? Yeah. But let's say he is somewhat, he is like Argentinian or whatever the case is, right? Yeah. Because of his phenotype, he gets some white privilege, white passing, or whatever the case is, right? Would that still cancel out his Latino-ness, or no?
I mean, who are we to decide that, in some sense?
True. That is true.
And
that is true. The reason why I asked is because
objectively speaking, though, indigenous, objectively speaking, does it cancel out his Hispanicity or his Latino-ness, right?
He's free to claim what he wants.
No, but if he Rad, did you ask if he claims white?
No, I didn't ask if he claims white. I'm just saying if it cancels out, just generically, like in you guys' opinion, because the way I see it, right, if you're walking around here getting seen as a white person,
Yeah.
but you're something else, but you're seen as a white person, you adopt these white attributes and white ideologies or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
You can't just one day just wake up and just say, "Hey, I'm Latino."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Indigenous, you don't agree with this?
I mean, Latino again. I'm going to go back to like you can. I guess people from Uruguay, majority of them in Argentina aren't Latinos.
Oh, okay.
Right? Are they also being catered to in Snow White? Yes. Again, it's a government assimilated term. Well, Hispanic is Latino, being created by the French and then being implemented in government system and classification. It's just assimilation. So, and I don't feel like being assimilated with people that I don't share anything in common with. I mean, I think that the majority of people from Argentina and Uruguay would, I mean, what aren't they majority like Spanish or Italian in some sense?
They are. The majority of them are Spanish, yeah.
And they would be considered Latino, right?
Well, in these in the broad term, yeah, they would.
In the correct government census term, they wouldn't.
Yeah, but in my definition, they wouldn't. But I see your point, and I agree with it because you're right. What connection are you gonna have with a Spaniard? You know, besides what the language. Outside of that, there's not gonna be no connection whatsoever. And I agree with you on that. And this is the reason why I'm saying that we need in America, Latinos for the most part need a racial term. You know,
Latinx.
No, get the hell out of here with that. No. But we need.
Rad's gonna have his pronouns on the bottom there. Rad.
No, not like that. But I'm putting the link out. Whoever wants to join, y'all could come in and join as y'all want. Inquisidor, I see you here up in the chat. So if you want to come in and have a discussion, we could definitely have a discustion. But Ray said, is district from ethnicity? No, they're pretty much the same thing. Race and ethnicity were seen and viewed pretty much the same thing until later on. You know, some people might run with the whole ethnicity is more important than it's pretty much the same thing. Let's stop. You know what I'm saying? We got.
I did want to make a distinction though. I'm
sorry. Whoa! We got a lot of people up in here. Hold up, wait. What's going on? Hold up. All right, wait. We're gonna get some of the people up in here, right? So I'm gonna get Jose. Jose, what's going on? Good evening, Jose.
Good evening, everybody.
What's going on?
How is everybody with some gray cells tonight?
Good, we're good.
Yeah. Mine are fine. I don't know what's going on with the mix in the chat section.
Yeah, so shout out to Jose. I got Don. Don, what's going on, Don? Yo, Don. Yeah, Don is out of here. Anyway, and I got Truth Teacher. Truth Teacher, what's up?
Yo, what up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
We hear you, brethren.
All right, good. So I wanna first of all, I wanna talk to Jose first, and then I'll move it on to Truth Teacher. Jose, I don't know how long you've been here, but I presented a couple of clips.
Yes, I've been here since the beginning.
Okay, so what do you think on the forcedness of whiteness?
Well, I find it amazing that the same people that oppress us, that don't give us their privileges, wants us to identify as being white. That's my first thought. My second thought, I mean, we're having all these crazy terminologies like Latinx, Afro-Latino, and then we have all these morons who even though, in a Latino sense, are not white, but they swear up and down that they're white, talking about being delusional.
Yeah. I'm gonna move it on to Truth Teacher. Truth Teacher, what are your thoughts on what I presented?
Well, my thoughts on it is this. I think this is a method that they're using to disempower Latino people. Because think about it. In the past few years, there's been a real effort to combat racism, institutional racism, and white supremacy, and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Now, in this article, this news report, they specifically said that in that state there were measures being instituted to combat racial profiling, right? Now, how are you going to combat racial profiling if the people who you are victimizing are not being categorized in the right way? So you're going to categorize them. They want to change the system to make one of the major groups of people who suffer discrimination be categorized as white. So now what happens in the real world when you as a Latino person is experiencing discrimination, racism, etc., and you want to go and file a complaint or a lawsuit? What's going to happen? Well, you're white, so you can't, this isn't racism, you're white. So they're going to take away your power to be able to fight injustice and discrimination because they've categorized you as something that you're not. So this is, I know you guys disagree with me, but this is just another reason, in my opinion, why I really reject racial classification systems, because this was something that was created by the dominant class to protect their interests. And what they're showing us right now is that this is all a game. And when it suits their interest, they change the rules of the game, right? So how is it that you're going to take Latinos and a lot being ticketed? In reality, if you want to go in racial terms, they're more native than anything else. Come on. You look native as fuck. You're brown as fuck. What part of you is white? But they're going to categorize you as white, treat you like crap, and then when you try to go and prosecute them on grounds of discrimination and racism, they're going to throw it out because you can't be being discriminated against racially because you're white. You're part of the dominant class.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do to Mexicans back in the day.
Yeah, back in the 30s. Yeah. I'm gonna move it on to Don, and then I think was it Roy Chess in the back. Don, what is your opinion on this?
My opinion on this is that this classification has always been flawed since the inception of what we known as America. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people who actually say that they're white or passing don't know their history, or there have been a lot of intermingling with people. I mean, from the 1700s till now. So to go and try to categorize us Hispanics as white or black or anything like that, a lot of people here in the United States, they want to try to put labels on us because they don't know what we really are. And then you have certain people who want to push the pro-white agenda. But at the same time, if a Latino person was to go to, depending on their ethnic features, if they were to go to, let's say, get a job or to a restaurant or anything like that, and then they meet like a Ku Klux Klan member, at the end of the day, if they was to have a fist fight or whatever the case may be, they're not going to say, oh yeah, this is an ethnic crime. Oh yeah, this is a white on white crime, when the fact is you're actually Spanish or Latino, whatever the case may be, but they're not going to prosecute it. So therefore, my thing is that they're trying to find legal loopholes, so therefore people could get away with more injustices.
Absolutely.
I like your take. I'm gonna bring in Roy Chess. Roy Chess, what's up, bro?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What's going on? What's going on? What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Do you agree, disagree? What's up?
Well, I can say that if I agree with the point that you addressed, that that classification is wrong, but I also want to add that it's the police that are making the wrong classification, and if they're classifying the people they pull over wrongly, then I would have to question the officers' race also, because if they can get the perps wrong, then the officers classifying as white have the same reasoning that they're not really white either.
Roy Chess. But for some reason, they never get white people's race wrong. In that report, they show that they never got white people's things wrong, but they always got the the Latinos. They were always classified as white, regardless.
Yeah, because they're not looking for that. So if you're telling me that Mr. Rodriguez is white according to the police officer's report, that means the chances are that the police officers who claim white are also Latino too. It goes both ways. How do you know who's more white than the other one?
Yeah. Do you think that the reason why they're doing that is to skew some of the racial injustice numbers statistically? Do you think that's the case?
I think that there's a good percentage of that, but also I think it's because of the officers are Latino, so that wasn't addressed. That if the Latino officers are putting down white, because they're certainly not putting down black, and why aren't they putting down black? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of Latinos that don't. I know black, sir. I know black. I know black.
Maybe well they could put down indigenous, they don't do
They
that.
don't do that either.
The thing is that there's been an open, something I've always been saying. There's been an open secret where in many institutions, it's pretty much the standard to put down the white whenever Latin people leave that box blank. So it's a common occurrence. So do you think that's something that is just being passed down by institution to institution just to do that? Do you think that might be the possibility, regardless if the worker is a Latino or not?
As far as that goes, I think there's some truth to that, because I don't know with certainty, but I know for sure that there was a time in the past where there were only a certain number of check boxes. Like the applications that you showed before has more check boxes than it did like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
There was probably 4 check boxes or something like that. So now we have more because they I think in the 20s they didn't have Latino or Hispanic on it at all.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty there's a.
No, you're right. No, you're right. They did it.
So they're adding more check boxes. So the standard back then was when there were 4 check boxes, you had to pick what the person looked like. And this is where I push back, where ethnicity and race are different, right? So if they're telling officers that race and ethnicity are the same thing, then there's going to be miscategorizations, because somebody could look Asian, but they don't classify as Asian, right? So somebody born in Jamaica who's Asian looking, they're not going to be seen as Jamaican. Maybe to the Jamaicans they are, but when I look at them, I'm not going to say, "Hey, that's a Jamaican over there." I'm going to see an Asian. Yeah. I don't know where I can't tell where people are born from looking at them. That is why there's a race category, not ethnicity. So when I see an Asian, I know an Asian no matter where I go on the planet. He's Asian. I know anywhere I go on the planet, that person is an Indian. I know anywhere I go on the planet that person is black. That's why there are only 4 races. There's not 1,000 races, because it would be hard to identify if there were thousands of them. So,
got it.
There's a definitely distinction that you would have to make, and you wouldn't be able to make it if you're just going by phenotype. And people keep harping on this phenotype when biology is what race is supposed to be based on. It's supposed to be based on your genes, not what you look like. Because I know personally plenty of families where the mother has multiple kids, and one of those kids look white, and then the other kids look black and in different colors. So what do you call that family? Right? I know I have a family. I know a family where the mother is definitely black, absolutely black, but she got a kid with blonde hair and blue eyes. What do you call
I'd
him?
say that mom got some explaining to do.
Well, he had kids with multiple men, so it's definitely not the same.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, I know, but so you're gonna say, well, some of her sons are black and then some he's white? Of course not. So you cannot go by phenotype. It has to be by dominant recessive genes, which it was originally intended for.
Okay.
So he looks white, but he's not. His father happened to be white. That's why he looks like that. But the mother is mixed. That's why he looks like that. Right? But she's still classified as black, even though she's mixed. So that's why the recessive gene comes out.
Really quickly. I'm seeing 31 people up in here. Get them likes up. Like the goddamn video. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Go ahead.
I got something to say. Talking about white people and everything like that. One of the most celebrated actors, like in the 20th century, was by the name of Yul Brynner, right? So Yul Brynner, to maybe the populace, will be considered a white Russian male. But when the fact is that he was actually mixed with Mongolian, so therefore you got a lot of people who are like of Russian or come from like the former Soviet countries or anything like that. If you actually look at their features, certain people would not tell like, oh yeah, that person's white, that person's Asian. And when it actually comes to races and everything like that around that region, the Caucasus and former Soviet Union countries, there's so much of a mixture that if they were to come to the United States, those people cannot really be categorized in a box because they're so mixed by wars, history, religion, Genghis Khan. Most of the times, is that you got certain people in this world that they cannot be filled in a box because they have literally everything.
Yeah, Genghis Khan technically got his own racial classification. So what? Fuck it.
But what was it? Anybody wants to chime in and speak on what Roy Chess or Don said?
Well, I want to say that we got to keep in mind these police officers, they're not going on their own free will. What they're doing, that's been dictated to them, that this is what they have to do. And we know because there's been precedent in law enforcement across the country where people actually come forward and say that they are pressured by the higher ups to institute certain racial policies, like here in New York City, the whole, stop and frisk thing. We have multiple officers, people of color who came forward and complained that their sergeant told them, pressured them that they had to focus on stopping and frisking Black and Latino people. So these officers down in Texas, they're not coming up with this shit on their own. They've been told by the administration that this is what they had to do. This is a policy. This isn't some computer glitch or some kind of bullshit like that. This is a policy. And like I said, I think what's going on here is that this is one of the ways that they're coming up to be able to disenfranchise people of color legally. Because you'll never be able to say, okay, whatever happened, an altercation, this was a hate crime. If you categorize Latinos as white, they'll never be able to get justice when they've been victims of hate crimes or, like discrimination for housing or employment and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So this whole thing about classifying people as race, by race, you know, like I said, this is something that was instituted by the powers that be, the elite class in the society, and it's a game, and they rig the game so that the rules are always in their favor.
Yeah.
And when things start
I wanna,
going the
I
other
wanna,
way, they
I want,
change
I
the
wanna
rules.
just point something out real quick. Mind you, this application right here is a race form for immigrants who coming into this country. Again, I showed this previously. I'm gonna show this again. It says race and it says choose one. It doesn't say choose multiple. It says choose one. And if you guys can see it, it says Caucasian and Latino are at the same box. So it's very deliberate. It's something that is eye-opening, and it's more better understanding on why certain Latin coons come up in here and start identifying as white, because some of them are miseducated, and secondly, some of them probably do want to see themselves as white regardless of the fact, but still this is very disrespectful in my opinion.
Oh,
and this is
If
I can just chime in for a second.
Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, because you know what? I too find it extremely disrespectful when you take into account that you have people who are not part of our community are trying to dictate what we are. They have no idea what we are about, have no idea about what makes us think, but yet they're going to classify us as white. We have enough trouble with these morons who have this deep white fetish. They want to be white. They want to be white. They want to be right. Even though if you unless you are visually impaired, they are not white. They are either brown, black, or what have you.
Radical, do you know Steve King?
Steve King. No.
His name was quite common in the news regarding politics. He was a politician. He was elected, I believe, from the western part of Iowa. And he just spread this really hateful rhetoric, not just towards immigrants, but like people of color, specifically immigrants from non-white countries. And he would just talk about like the great, what did he say? The great white, not disappearance. But like the extinction, not extinction, but just like the reduction of the white population in the United States. And he would harp and keep on going and going and going on that. Like he wouldn't stop. So it shouldn't be surprising to a lot of people that there's probably a lot more people in government that think like him. Now this man was kicked out. I believe he was removed. He said something really crazy. I think last year. Yeah, I guess the scary thing is that he was elected in general.
Yeah, but hold on.
But what's up?
You're talking about the Great Replacement theory?
The Great Replacement, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's kind of like the opposite of this, though. He doesn't want black and brown people, inducted or absorbed into whiteness. No matter how light you are as a black person, right? There are black people running around, with lighter skin, because that's just an organ. He doesn't want them in there.
I don't think he cares too much.
Them in there.
I mean, as long as it looks good on paper to him, then it's fine. You and I both can't read his mind, but on paper, it looks fine.
All right,
and I think that's what a lot of government officials, not a lot. Well, I guess it could be a lot, but like, there's a lot of government officials probably that think like him. I mean, I have a pretty large distrust of the U.S. government, and I think that's fairly understandable considering what they've been responsible for throughout Central America, throughout the world.
He was a white elitist. He was a white elitist, I take it.
Steve King.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever said that. He very much denied the accusations that he calls it that were placed upon him by others.
But let's be honest, Marcus.
White,
Marcus, let's be honest. When the police shows up, everybody turn white.
I want to be a white boy like me and you are. I want to be a regular person.
Yeah, talking about something, right? You know what I'm thinking, which is actually funny. It's funny that we call these people Latino coons, I think need to have a new name for them. We just call them loons. You know what I'm saying? Because they're straight up lunatics. So therefore, let's just use the term loons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's something.
I never seen an application with this. Also, have you ever encountered the one where it says choose one and then it has black but not Latino? Why do they do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the last census, I believe.
There was some applications some federal application. Again, this federal application is for citizenship in this country. For Danny, that's asking in the comment section.
Because you encounter different ones, right? The ones I encountered the most.
I've encountered other ones where Latino is not part of a race box or ethnicity. It's just Asian, black, white, and native, and that's it.
But you never seen the one where it's black but not Latino?
I've seen those.
Right. So why are they making that distinction?
Oh, that's on them. I really
now it's similar to this because now they're not going to put white. They're not going to put black. They're not going to put the other. They're going to put white, right?
No, they're just not going to have Latino there whatsoever.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It's not Latino on there, but it says black but not Latino though.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not
classifying them as white.
No, basically. They're not forcing Latinos to classify as white. With this one, they are.
No, that one is also because it's not even.
Not at all. Not at all. It's not like they have a race category and then just says pick one and the only choice is Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, with this one, they have Latino and Caucasian as one. So that's the big difference here.
Yeah, but
the thing is, with the other ones that I've seen, they have different races there. They don't even have Latino listed or Hispanic listed whatsoever. The thing is, they have different races there, but they're not forcing people to choose whiteness. They're not forcing them. With this one, they are.
Well, they are forcing because they're not going to pick the other ones. They're not Indian. They're not Asian, and they're definitely not black.
Well,
so
the majority of Latinos are native. We just got to keep it real. We are native. The thing is how
so that's a misterm.
I'll just say how decolonized you are will determine on which one you choose.
No, because in America, the word Native American specifically refers to Indian tribes in America. It doesn't refer to people who are born here. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, of course I understand that.
So you can't put down Native.
No, you can.
You can.
You can.
It's wrong. It's just like if you put down white.
Okay, well, there's native tribes that are cool with it. So
yeah, technically speaking, you're right. It would be wrong, but you can.
Yeah,
shit, I do that. I do it all the time when I get the choice.
I mean, I
do it all the time.
There's people that are native tribes that are fine with what we're doing. So
if it's okay if I put Asian,
but Roy Trust
was Asian.
Yeah, I'll put Asian.
Wrong.
But
okay, well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is you saying, well, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But people are
doing
doing
who are
it.
you? You're not in a tribe, so it doesn't really matter. I think your opinion is somewhat irrelevant.
No, I'm just saying that then this is not reliable. That's what I'm saying. This whole process
reliable to whom?
To anyone.
They're literally natives. I don't understand.
No, that's not what native means in America. That's not what it means.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you. That's not what it means.
Listen, Roy Tess, we're going around in a circle. We understand what you're saying, and in America's definition, I get what you're saying. The thing is, people are not going to get forced to choose what they are in this example that I put out. Latinos are being forced to choose white. This is my whole thing. Regardless of whoever's wrong or not in America's definition, well, in section 13-4, we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is being forced. And, in my example, Latinos are being forced to choose white.
Yeah, but so even the dark skin one.
Even the dark skin one, because it doesn't say skin color, it says race, and right next to Latino is Caucasian. It's in the same box.
Right.
So
I can send you that video.
So there could be Dominicans as dark as Brotap,
And they would choose white. In this example, they would choose white.
Radical. I should send you that video that I found. There was like these people
Especially if
surveyed
it's
around
a
this
Dominican
country.
Renaissance. You choose
Wait. What's up, Marcus?
No, the officer would pick white.
Wait. Marcus is trying to talk. What's
I
up?
think it was the Dominican Republic, but there's like a couple videos. One like is it somewhere in Mexico and the Dominican Republic also. I believe it was Dominican Republic or somewhere in the Caribbean, where there were these people that went around and asked them like what they racially called themselves, and there were people like as dark as me that were calling themselves white. So it just goes to show you that even like outside the U.S., like there's this.
Oh yeah, no, of course, of course, yeah. Of course.
I have a question though. Rochester, should they put what they actually are, or what the country or government wants them to put down?
Well, you're supposed to put down the truth. I would take it that
Well, the truth is they're natives, so that's what they put.
No, but they're not natives. That's not how the term is used on the application.
If he's going by a government census form where they list tribes, and to some extent, like yes, but right
They're
now,
not.
like in 2020, yeah, sure. I mean, again, like
They're
it's your
not.
own opinion.
So-
I mean, no matter how much
the
it
thing is,
triggers
all
you,
right.
you can go and cry if you want. That's cool. But
No, but
you
we
still have
understand.
people.
We understand the context means one thing.
No, you
wait,
understand it
Mr.
from a
Mr.
backwards perspective.
Wait, let me answer this question. Danny is saying if the photo is altered, it's not altered to be deceiving whatsoever. It just has some blur effect on the up and down, but you could definitely see it clearly on the website. If you go to the USIS website and it's the application for applicant citizenship, you're going to find this. Plenty of people who I put it on the community post found it. Maybe it is taking you a while to find it. I don't know, but go ahead, guys.
It was
So again,
altered.
backwards
Danny,
perspective.
also, Danny, it was altered to remove the semen stains. Shivo was jacking off to as soon as he saw Caucasian Latino. That dude was like,
You're bringing up Chivo.
Excuse me. Speaking about
my bad, Jose. I'm sorry, man.
Go ahead.
We
go ahead,
actually did a short video about Puerto Rico.
Oh, what did he say?
That the people who took down the statue of one of the Spanish conquistadors was wrong, and that
Denise put this out. I think was it Spain went out there trying to I think have a economic connection with Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Ricans vehemently disagreed with that, to the point where they took down a Spanish statue, and it was broadcasted everywhere. And apparently Chivo made a stink
Chivo
about
had
it.
a connection.
and let me tell you something. He's not even a good spokesman for Dominicans. How the hell he's going to speak about us?
Listen,
I have no comment.
listen, he's primarily Spanish descent. Leave him alone, yo. Leave him alone.
Well, you know what? The
I mean?
Spaniards can have him.
Yeah.
They can have him.
Yeah, he's a Spaniard, by the way. Go ahead. I don't know why he's living in DR, not in Spain.
He's about as much Spaniard as I am Chinese.
The Spanish economy isn't doing so good right now. So it could be
They're not,
reason.
dude. It's crazy over there.
Yeah, Portugal and Spain's economy is not doing so hot. But it's because they can't colonize anymore. To some extent, it is.
Yeah, that's true. That lifeline is cut. The spigot's been turned off.
Well, now I was talking to my last video in about like 20 years from now, like you're going to see like, I mean, it's already happening now. Like countries like Japan, Singapore, and like South Korea are way ahead of these, Portugal and Spain. Soon will be many more. You're seeing the rise of like the Far East and China too. So yeah, it's going to be a big change, I think, but it's going to happen.
I mean, I like the joke that, the people on this panel collectively have more money than Spain, like at the moment. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, since the exploitation pipeline got cut, that's a wrap.
I go on even better. My 12-year-old nephew has more money than Spain.
This is just a crap on Spain.
people people that got the C19 checks got more money than spend. No, let me
Hey,
let me
hey,
go.
hey! They make good tapas.
Yeah, okay.
I've never had those actually.
Oh, it's
I'll have to try.
delicious.
I'll have to try it out.
Is it? Oh, okay.
The only
Let me
fucking people in Europe that know how to cook.
let me go down the
Italians
list.
know how to cook.
Let me go down the list, and I'm gonna give everybody 2 minutes to give me their final thoughts. I'm gonna start with Marcus. By the way, Marcus, thank you very much for joining in. He has people who don't know, he has a podcast. Him and his co-host Juan Chaloa have a podcast called Indigenous Podcast. So definitely go check it out. Marcus, give me your final thoughts. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Again, Radical, thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is a really engaging discussion. But yeah, regarding what we talked about in the subject, and I'm just going to go back to kind of Steve King and politicians. There's a lot of older politicians, I think, or some of them that are still in really higher up important positions in the U.S. that have this sort of mentality to where they don't want to see the U.S. become less white. Again, I feel like the term white is quite silly to me because, as I bring up people from Portugal and Iceland don't look alike. But yeah, be less white. They don't want that to happen, in my opinion. So obviously they're not going to go on some killing rampage to reduce the black or the Mexican native populations. So they believe probably it looks best to just change it on paper. Again, it's backwards thinking. It's very, I guess, Klan mentality thinking. I don't mean like Klan. I mean like KKK thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I like to be hopeful for the future. The younger generations of every group, like I said, are really open-minded, and I look forward to a lot of change. And hopefully, this certain Latino white thing that you just showed us the picture, that will change as well. And we can, people can agree. I mean, I run Indigenous podcast. I'm for people that know that they're native clearly should be able to be proud of that and be proud of their roots. But again, people are proud to be who they want. So,
all right, cool. Thank you very much, Marcus. Don't be a stranger. Definitely go check him out. All right, cool. Next I got Bro Tep here. Bro Tizzy, you heard. Shout out to Bro Tep. Now Bro Tep, Bro Tep also has a channel, you know what I'm saying? Definitely go check it out, Bro Tep Raw. You know what I mean? Bro Tep, give me your final 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay long. I only need about a minute. It seems like we're not keeping an eye on the real enemy here, which is not really they, and we're basically tacitly saying white people, but it's not. White nationalists have a huge problem with this very same thing. They don't want us inducted into whiteness either, right? And so what you have are people who are moving pieces around on a chessboard, and that's who we have to keep an eye out on. That's it.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Bro Tep, for coming in. Don't be a stranger. Catch you later. All right, Jose. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much, Jose, for coming in. I really appreciate it every time you do come in. Give me your final 2 minutes on this topic. Go ahead. Oh, and by the way, Jose Negron also has a YouTube channel. I believe is Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, correct?
Correct. And in fact, Tuesday we could do something unique. We're going to do a live stream completely in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. For people who understand Spanish, there we go. Now, I'm gonna give Jose 2 minutes to give me his final thoughts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The fact of the matter is, I find it amazing that the same people that oppress us, they want to identify with them, and giving us the same privileges. I think what we need to do is let ourselves identify who we are. We need to know about our respective cultures because our cultures are awesome. Unfortunately, you have people who do not know anything about the diaspora, whether it be the Puerto Rican diaspora, the Dominican diaspora, or the Latin diaspora. Please do spend some time learning about your people. And with that, I'm going to close the same way I always close. People, please be careful out there because we're still dealing with a thing called C-19 that's killed over 850,000 people, and we must do everything possible to avoid contact with the mentally intellectually challenged, or else we'll be infected with a stupidity, and that's a worse disease than C-19.
All right. Thank you very much, Jose. Don't be a stranger. Definitely do come back. All right. So I got Truth Teacher in the building. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Give me your final thoughts, bro.
Okay, as a non-Latino who's only Latino adjacent and insinuates himself in Latino spaces where he doesn't belong, I'd like to say that I think what Latinos need to do is completely reject the racial classification system and come up with a term that represents their ethnicity and insist that that's what they want to be identified with. This whole thing about racial classification is a trick bag. It's created by the elite classes who use it as a way of maintaining their power and position in society at the expense of all the rest of us. And it goes even deeper than that because you got to ask yourself the reason why poor white people go along with a system that really doesn't benefit them because they're poor as trash. There's a reason why. But by and large, this is a game, and they change the rules to always make sure that they win. And that's exactly what we're seeing with this situation right here.
All right. Thank you very much, Truth Teacher. Definitely do come back. Don't be a stranger. And I have Roy Chess, but before that, I see somebody asking me a question. What is your ethnicity and how do you identify? To me, I'm Latino, half Dominican, half Ecuadorian, and I identify as Afro-Indigenous. So that's my real identification. Yeah, really that curious about it. Roy Chess, thank you very much for joining in. You always bring in wonderful new ways to looking at things. You got 2 minutes. Give me your final thoughts.
Yes, thank you for having me. Of course, these topics are constantly spoken about because it's the authorities that abuse it. So, Truth Teacher is somewhat. I agree with him on that. The authorities abuse it, but I don't agree that it was originally used for that purpose. Originally, it was used for the purpose of biology to distinguish the dominant recessive genes, like I said before, because if you have a mother with different children of different skin complexions, you can't put down different races for each kid. That would make no sense, especially if the parents are the same. So it was definitely a different purpose than what it's being used for, perhaps. But let's take that aside. Let me go a different direction. Let's say that we eliminate all these categories, right? And say there's the only one race, human race. I think you guys were on point on with not being able to identify discrimination. Like, you're picking on me because of the way I look. If we're all the same race, we can't possibly have that. So now you have to question, what else can they attack? Culture, ethnicity. That's going to be next. If they were to get rid of race, that's going to be on the chopping block shortly after. I think that it's reasonable to think that. So it's going to be hard to discriminate or to show bias against anyone who is being mistreated by authorities. You gave me a half-hour break, but you give Charlie a 2-hour break. Why is that? If we're the same race, right? So then they're going to show, favoritism is going to be hard to describe at that point. So if we don't have race, then it's going to be hard to be treated fairly and have a voice to complain about if we're all the same race. And the other things are going to be attacked as well. So don't think those things are going to be safe.
Okay. Your 2 minutes is up. Thank you very much, Roy Chess. definitely don't be a stranger. Definitely do come back. You don't got a channel, do you? You could just plug it in right now.
not
All right,
really.
cool,
No,
cool, cool.
no.
All right, cool. So Roy has definitely come back. Thank you very much. Now, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. It was a very, very interesting episode. I totally understand that. I know it wasn't the episode of the norm or whatever the case is, but I'm definitely gonna come back next week for the regular, visual podcast, and all of that would be all good and dandy. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys with my two favorite quotes. I'd rather die at my feet than live on my knees. And if black and brown unity doesn't happen within my lifetime, I might not change the world, but I might inspire the mind that will. With that being said, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.